What's up, everybody? Welcome to DigiCalise, my second channel, where I talk about the Digimon card game. A couple weeks ago, we saw the release of Digital World Shambala, and where I would normally walk into my local game store and buy a box, maybe even two, this time around I found myself deciding not to. It was kind of a last-minute decision, and today I want to talk to you guys about why I'm skipping Shambala, and why you might want to also. Back when they started revealing everything for this set, I got caught in the hype cycle immediately. My mindset of wanting to play all the shiny new decks and use all the cool new Digimon that I didn't see before, I was really excited. They started out really strong, they revealed Satan Gokumon, and then immediately after we got Planet Punch Seriousmon. My boy Gamamon getting a dual card. He's one of my favorite Digimon. I loved the Ghost Game anime. I loved the villain of the week type thing. I thought it was so goofy and campy, and Gamamon is just super cute. All of his different evolutions are super cool, and that's actually going to be my next video for this channel, talking about Gamamon and why I think he actually might have a place in the meta going forward. But I digress, that's not this video. I was caught up in that hype cycle, right? They started revealing Gokumon and Sanzomon, and it took me back to 2024 and the release of EX-6, where I screwed around with the Shakamon deck and I really tried to make it work. I loved her design. I thought it was so cool. It was a different way to play the game at the time. It felt really unique, but just not a good deck, I'll be honest. As we're revealing more cards, I'm staying on the hype cycle, and then I started to shift my mentality a little bit, right? I started to think a little more competitively and started to think about the decks I'm playing and the fact that I need to kind of downsize how many I play so I can get better with the ones that I do play. And more to the point, I started thinking about the competitive landscape of the game. Now, I'm just gonna give you guys my thoughts on this. This is like a talking head kind of theory video, right? I think Bandai's been signposting pretty clearly what direction they're taking the game right now, where the power is truly going to be. And I mean that by saying dual cards keep coming up and they keep getting stronger, right? And they will continue to get stronger. Decks that utilize option cards in any form and do so for free or very cheaply, those are in vogue and they are strong. And Digimon Effect Immunity is getting printed everywhere. There's layers of protection on everything, but when you see those words, Digimon Effect Immune, that's a whole different beast to deal with, especially if it's lingering immunity that can be refreshed easily. So by the time we get around to the end of the release cycle for Shambala and we get to actual release day, my mentality had shifted because in my mind, I looked at the Shambala decks and I realized they were all kind of lacking that punch. They were lacking the ability to use dual cards. They don't have any in archetype yet, and as far as I know, I don't think any are coming. Hear me out on this one. We had a big sheet of leaks come out, and we saw Kunlun on there. And then we saw a whole lot of Time Stranger stuff, and some dual cards related to Time Stranger, and some dual cards related to Glowing Dawn, but really only Kunlun. And I'll be honest, looking at the artwork, I'm getting kind of a Homeros vibe from that. And if he's just something that's going to let you reactivate your Digimon's effects at the end of the turn, I don't think that's going to be enough to compete with what's going on in the game right now. When you take a look at the strongest decks from our last format, how fast they are, how consistent they are, the fact that they can bounce back and be very, very lethal on that bounce back. You've got Digimon Effect immunities everywhere. You've got hard drop bodies that de-digivolve, rush, swing. You've got all kinds of stuff out there right now that just answers a Digimon sitting on the board with an all turns floodgate effect and no level of stopping it. De-digivolve's the best soft removal in the game right now, and the best decks in the game have access to it. Trashing your opponent's security, that's another strong one, and wouldn't you know, the best decks in the game have access to. Out of all of your SW and TB cards, the only guy in the bunch that has any sort of Digimon Effect immunity is Nejamon. The rest are all sticky, and those decks are really good at making a sticky puzzle board that you have to solve. And there are strong cards in these decks. I'm not saying they aren't strong decks, but I do think that in the long term of the game, they're gonna fall off rather quickly. I don't think they're gonna get the level of support that they'll need to stay strong and relevant as we move forward into a metagame where we're going to have new Royal Knight set being released, a new X-Antibody set being released, a new Demon Lord set being released. We already know we're getting updates to all the Time Stranger stuff in BT26. I'm going to give a little shout out to another YouTube channel. I watched a video that he put up about Susanomon and the TB deck, and more specifically Susanomon and how it can be very unhealthy for the game. Digicarding, he did a great video on it, and towards the end of his video, he kind of did start to touch on some ways you could counter a card like Susanomon getting hard played with some assembly. And the big one that came up is Digimon effect immunity. You could be an Atratusmon and just live through Susanomon, it doesn't really matter. And you might even be able to be bigger than him and shut down a swing. Personally, I think if these are going to be popular decks that people are playing, something like Rebootmon could walk in and have a place in the meta, especially now that he got access to a new tamer that gives Vortex and extra DP. But that guy, he can lock down stuff. He can bottom deck stuff with link effects, and nothing on your opponent's board is telling you that you can't affect them with Digimon effects. And that's where I'm going with this, right? The decks that are fast right now, they aim to kill you turn 2, turn 3. They're not gonna stop doing that, and they're gonna stay relevant, and they're gonna continue to do that. And they're not gonna give you time to set up that puzzle piece board state that your opponent has to solve. Beelstarmon's not going anywhere. It's got all the option cards in the world that it needs to answer wide boards or small boards. It can gain memory. It can do D-Digivolve. It's got access to an incredibly powerful bounce back. Glowing Dawn's only gonna get more support, and they're the dual card spam deck, like dualcard.exe coming to a town near you, and I'm gonna be playing it. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It's just too fun. Dual cards are too good. They're just too good. We got a lot of stuff coming down the line right now, and none of it sounds like Toho Braves or Sayu Warriors. None of it sounds like Virus Busters. None of it sounds like Metal Empire. I think all the decks coming out of Shambala, minus some fan favorites like Gamamon, are probably not going to see support for a pretty long time. Like, yeah, we'll get a Shakamon somewhere down the line, and maybe Shakamon will be a dual card, and that would be really cool to have a dual card that could go on top of one of the level 5s like that. Maybe, and it might breathe some life into that deck. Maybe Enmamon does some nutty stuff. Maybe he also gets to be Digimon effect immune, you never know. We'll get there, right? But I don't think it's going to see the level of support other things are going to see. Time Stranger was too much of a hit to not have it get support again sometime down the line. Beat Break has been very well received, and it's easier to watch Digimon anime now than ever. And a lot more people have their eyes on it. I imagine sometime in the future we'll get more Beat Break cards, more Glowing Dawn cards, maybe we get Bad Guy cards. More of a focus on those. Maybe there will be a season 2 of the show. But like, Shambala seems a little niche, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna get the tools that it needs to actually hang with some of the big dogs right now. I haven't played in paper against a ton of the new deck. I've played against TB and I've played against SW a couple times, and I've had pretty good success rate just playing Glowing Dawn against them. It's really easy to just kind of stay Digimon effect immune and continue to answer things on the board until you secure lethal. Honestly, it feels pretty low stress. But that's where I'm at on this, and that's why I'm skipping Shambala, because I just don't think it can hang right now. I think it'll be popular and a lot of people will play it, and I think some people will find some way to break it somehow or another, but like, genuinely, one more set and it's gonna fall off in my opinion. I think we're back to Time Stranger being the best decks in the room. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sarasmon, Bacchusmon be really good because they're getting access to 2 dual cards, which is like on top of a new Canon Yuki that's 3 cost and lets you play anything with any cost. But yeah, that's where Shambala's at for me right now, and I don't really know where it's gonna fall into the competitive scene. I know that it's gonna be tricky for people to adjust to answering boards and solving board states until they can't produce anything anymore. But like, once you learn how to kind of trade with people, it's not so bad. It's really not that bad. They're strong decks, but if you've got an immune guy or access to effect immunity or access to a really fatal bounce back, like, it's not that bad. I'm somebody who's always valued the back and forth style of gameplay, so I actually quite appreciate that the game is seeing decks come out right now with sticky board states that your opponent has to solve. I do enjoy that, I do appreciate that, and I mean the fact that I've always kind of liked playing that way with people, this is just my ballpark, right? I love to mess with decks like this. But because I like to mess with decks like this, I'm playing exactly the way they want to play and just playing around it better. So yeah, in the future, I don't think Shambala is going to get a ton. I think we're going to be looking at a lot of other decks, getting a lot of cool support, and all your normal fan favorite stuff is going to keep coming around again and again. Like, there's the real big stuff will always see support, right? There will always be another Agumon. Someday, Bandai will make Greymon Tribal a good deck again. But they'll probably do it on accident, and then we'll probably get something banned or restricted. But anyways, yeah, I said my piece. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Why I'm skipping Shambala, why you might want to skip Shambala too. If you're trying to be a little more competitive about the game, I don't necessarily know that it's for the competitive player. But I do think it is healthy for the game, and I will be getting a hold of some stuff for it. Like, I did get some packs when I went to play at locals, so I could shoot some shorts for this channel. And I'm planning to get some Gamamon update cards. I have Siriusmon on hand already. I want to get a hold of some Proximamons though, because I got 3 copies of Arcturusmon and he's getting played. We'll be going over the deck profile for that in the next video. But anyways, yeah, I said my piece on this one. If you guys want to head on over and check out my first channel and get to know me a little bit better and see a different side of me, I do more introspective, thought-provoking type of content over there. It's worth watching. I'll have it linked down in the description below. And if you guys like this video and you look forward to seeing the Gamamon video that's coming next, go ahead and like this one and subscribe, and tell your friends, let them know. We got some cool content coming up around here, and Gamamon's awesome, so I'm excited to do that video for him next. Anyways, until then, I will see you in the next video, hopefully. Make sure you have fun out there, be safe, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys later.